When bullets tear through her uncle's mansion walls, fabric seller Folami realizes her billion-naira inheritance came with a price: her life. Thrown from market stall to murder scene overnight, she discovers the security cameras that should reveal her uncle's killer have been tampered with by the very man sworn to protect her. In a deadly game where allies are assassins and business meetings are battlegrounds, Folami must unravel the conspiracy before she becomes the next body in the family plot. The truth? It's sewn into the very fabric of her past. The rain fell hard on the tin roof of the small shop. Folami wiped sweat from her brow as she arranged the last of her fabrics. Business had been slow all week, and today's downpour meant even fewer customers would visit her stall in Ibadan's busy market. "Folami, come quickly." Her younger sister Yewande burst through the doorway, soaked from the rain. "It's about Uncle Adeleke." Folami's heart stopped. What happened? Is he ill? Yewande shook her head, eyes wide. "No, he's dead. And he left everything to you." The news hit Folami like a slap. Uncle Adeleke, the wealthy businessman who had turned his back on their family 15 years ago after a bitter fight with their father, had died suddenly of a heart attack. And somehow, he had named Folami as his heir. "This makes no sense," Folami whispered. "He hated our family. Why would he leave anything to me?" But the lawyer's letter in Yewande's hand confirmed it. Folami was now the owner of Adeleke Enterprises, a company worth billions of naira, and the massive estate in Lekki where her uncle had lived alone for years. "You must go to Lagos immediately," Yewande insisted. "The lawyer says there are papers to sign, and you need to claim your inheritance before Uncle's business partners try to take control." Folami shook her head. "I can't just leave the shop." "I'll watch it," Yewande insisted. "This is your chance to escape this life of struggle. Go." 3 days later, Folami stood at the gates of her uncle's mansion, clutching a small bag containing all her belongings. The house loomed before her, 3 stories of gleaming white stone with tall windows that reflected the setting sun. A man in a crisp suit waited on the steps. "Miss Folami Ogundimu?" he asked politely. "I am Kayode Balogun, your uncle's personal assistant. Welcome to your new home." Folami swallowed hard. "This feels wrong. I barely knew my uncle." Kayode's expression remained neutral. Nevertheless, Chief Adeleke was very clear in his will. "You are his sole heir. Everything belongs to you now." As he guided her through the massive front doors, Folami felt like an imposter. The marble floors shone like mirrors, crystal chandeliers hung from high ceilings, expensive artwork covered the walls. "Your uncle's business partners will arrive tomorrow for the formal reading of the will," Kayode explained. "They are not happy about his decision." "I can imagine," Folami murmured, thinking of her simple fabric shop. "I know nothing about running a billion-naira company." Kayode hesitated. "There is something else you should know. Chief Adeleke left specific instructions. You must live in this house for 1 full year before you can sell any part of the business. And during that year, you must learn every aspect of how Adeleke Enterprises operates." Folami stopped walking. "And if I refuse?" "Then everything goes to charity, and you get nothing." That night, alone in a bedroom larger than her entire shop, Folami couldn't sleep. Why had her estranged uncle chosen her? The family story was that he had abandoned them after fighting with her father over money. But now she wondered if there was more to the story. A soft knock on her door startled her. When she opened it, she found a young man standing there, tall and serious-looking, with intelligent eyes. "I apologize for disturbing you," he said. "I'm Dio Adeyemi, head of security. There's something you need to see." Curious and slightly afraid, Folami followed him through the silent house to a small room hidden behind her uncle's office. Inside was a wall of monitors showing every room in the mansion. "Your uncle installed these cameras 5 years ago," Dio explained. "He was convinced someone was trying to kill him." Folami stared at the screens. Was he paranoid? Perhaps. Dio pressed a button and one of the screens showed footage of her uncle's bedroom. This was recorded the night before he died. On the screen, a figure in dark clothes crept into the room where her uncle slept. The person stood watching the sleeping man for several minutes, then carefully opened a small bottle and poured something into the glass of water on the nightstand. "My uncle was murdered," Folami whispered, her blood running cold. "It appears so," Dio said quietly, "and the killer is likely one of the business partners who will be here tomorrow. Have you shown this to the police?" Dio's expression darkened. "The local police chief is in the pocket of your uncle's partners. That's why I'm showing you first. You need to be careful, Miss Folami. The person who killed your uncle won't hesitate to kill his heir as well." Folami's mind raced. "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Dio's eyes held hers. "Your uncle saved my life once. I owed him my loyalty. Now I owe it to you." Morning came too quickly. Folami dressed in the finest clothes she owned, a simple but elegant blue dress that seemed pitiful compared to the luxury around her. Coyote briefed her before the meeting. "There are 3 main partners," he explained. Otunba Makinde, who handles government contracts, Mrs. Adebisi, who manages international investments, and Mr. Oleitan, who runs the tech division. All of them expected to inherit portions of the company. "Why didn't my uncle choose one of them?" Folami asked. Coyote's eyes were unreadable. "Your uncle trusted no one at the end, except apparently you." The meeting was set for noon in the grand dining room. Folami sat at the head of the long table, trying not to show her nervousness, as the lawyer, Mr. Badmus, prepared to read the will. The 3 business partners arrived together. Otunba Makinde was a large man with a booming voice and expensive gold jewelry. Mrs. Adebisi was elegant and cold, her eyes constantly calculating. Mr. Oleitan was younger than the others, wearing stylish glasses and a perfectly tailored suit. "So this is the mysterious niece," Mrs. Adebisi said, her voice dripping with disdain. "A market girl from Ibadan. How quaint." "I sell the finest fabrics in Ibadan," Folami replied quietly. "My customers include your daughter, I believe." Mrs. Adebisi's eyes narrowed. The lawyer cleared his throat. "Shall we begin? The will is quite specific." Mr. Badmus adjusted his glasses and began to read. As the terms were revealed, Folami inheriting everything, with the condition that she learn the business for 1 year. The partners' faces showed varying degrees of shock and anger. "This is absurd." Otunba Makinde slammed his fist on the table. "Adeleke built this company with our help. He can't just hand it to some nobody." "The will is legally binding," the lawyer stated firmly. "Miss Ogundimu is now the majority shareholder of Adeleke Enterprises." Mr. Oleitan studied Folami with cold interest. "Perhaps we could come to an arrangement. You seem like an intelligent young woman. Surely you understand that running a corporation of this size requires experience." "What my colleague means," Mrs. Adebisi cut in smoothly, "is that we would be willing to buy your shares at a very generous price. You could return to Ibadan a wealthy woman." Folami thought of the video Dio had shown her. One of these people had murdered her uncle. Perhaps all 3 had been involved. "I appreciate your concern," she said carefully, "but I intend to honor my uncle's wishes. I will learn the business, as required by the will." Otunba Makinde snorted in disbelief. "A fabric seller running Adeleke Enterprises? The company will collapse within months." "Then I suppose you'll be able to buy it cheaply at that point," Folami replied evenly. "Until then, I am the owner, and I intend to begin my education immediately." The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. After the meeting ended and the partners departed, Coyote approached her. "That was well handled," he said with new respect in his voice, "but they won't give up easily." "I know," Folami replied, thinking of the poison in her uncle's water glass. "I need to learn everything about this company, and quickly, starting with the real reason my uncle chose me." Later that afternoon, Folami explored the mansion, trying to understand the man who had suddenly made her one of the richest women in Nigeria. In his private study, she found photographs she had never seen before. Pictures of her uncle with her father when they were young men, smiling, arms around each other's shoulders. In one drawer, she discovered a journal. The first entry was dated 15 years ago, the same year her uncle had supposedly abandoned their family. "I have done what is necessary to protect them," her uncle had written. "Akin will never forgive me for leaving. But it is better he hate me than suffer the consequences of my actions. The child must be kept safe at all costs." The child? Folami frowned. Was he referring to her? She had been 10 years old when Uncle Adelek disappeared from their lives. A noise behind her made her jump. Dio stood in the doorway. "I've been looking for you," he said. "There's something else you should see." He led her to the garage, where a collection of luxury cars gleamed under bright lights. At the far end was a simple door marked "Private." Dio opened it with a key from his pocket. Inside was a small office containing filing cabinets and a desk with a computer. On the walls were photographs and documents connected by red string, like something from a detective movie. "Your uncle's investigation room," Dio explained. "For the past 5 years, he was gathering evidence against his partners." Folami examined the wall. There were photos of all 3 partners meeting with known criminals, copies of bank statements showing suspicious transfers, transcripts of recorded conversations. They were stealing from him, Folami realized, embezzling money, taking bribes. "Not just stealing," Dio corrected grimly, "murder." He pointed to a document labeled Abuja contract. Attached was a newspaper clipping about a government inspector who had died in a car accident after auditing one of the company's projects. "Your uncle was going to expose them," Dio continued. "He had a meeting scheduled with federal prosecutors next week. That's why they killed him." Folami felt dizzy. "And now I'm in their way." "Exactly. But you have something they don't know about." Dio handed her a small flash drive. "Your uncle's complete evidence file, enough to send all 3 of them to prison for life. Why didn't he just go to the authorities? He needed proof that all 3 were working together. He finally got it last month." Dio's voice softened. "And he needed someone he could trust to finish what he started. But why me? We hadn't spoken in 15 years. That wasn't his choice." Dio hesitated. "Your uncle never abandoned your family. He stayed away to protect you." "Protect me from what?" "From them." Dio nodded toward the wall of evidence. "When your uncle discovered their corruption, they threatened to kill your entire family if he exposed them. So he cut all ties to keep you safe. But he never stopped watching over you from a distance." Folami's mind reeled. All these years, she had believed her uncle was a selfish man who had turned his back on family. Now she discovered he had sacrificed his relationship with them to keep them safe. "There's a letter for you," Dio said, opening a desk drawer and handing her an envelope. He wrote it the day before he died. With trembling hands, Folami opened it. "My dear Folami, if you are reading this, then I am gone, and you have inherited a dangerous legacy. I chose you because I have watched you grow into a woman of integrity and courage. Your fabric shop may seem worlds away from Adelek Enterprises, but you have the same business instincts that built this company. More importantly, you alone have the heart to finish what I started. The evidence you need is in your hands now. Use it wisely. Trust no one except Dio. He has been my eyes and ears for years. Remember that appearance and reality are often different. Look beyond what you are shown to what is hidden. The greatest danger will come from the one who appears to be your greatest ally. Your loving uncle, Adeleka." The last line sent a chill down Folami's spine. Trust no one except Dio. Yet her uncle had also warned that danger would come from an apparent ally. Was Dio truly trustworthy? "We need to get this evidence to the authorities," Folami said, watching Dayo's reaction carefully. Not yet, he replied. We need to be strategic. The partners have people everywhere, police, media, even government. We need to understand exactly how deep this goes before we move. It sounded reasonable, but doubt had taken root in Folami's mind. I need time to think, she said. This is a lot to process. That night, Folami couldn't sleep again. She kept rereading her uncle's letter, trying to decipher his cryptic warning. The greatest danger will come from the one who appears to be your greatest ally. A soft knock on her door startled her. It was Coyote. I apologize for the late hour, he said, his normally calm face showing signs of strain. But there's something urgent I need to tell you. Folami hesitated, then invited him in, keeping her distance. I overheard the partners talking after the meeting, Coyote said in a low voice. They plan to have you declared mentally unfit to run the company. They've already contacted a psychiatrist who will certify that you're suffering from delusions. Folami felt cold fear creep up her spine. Can they do that? With enough money, they can do anything, Coyote replied grimly. You need to move quickly if you want to maintain control. What do you suggest? Call an emergency board meeting tomorrow, announce that you're conducting a full audit of the company's finances. It will put them on the defensive. It was a bold move, perhaps too bold for someone who had just inherited the company. Why was Coyote suggesting it? I'll consider it, Folami said carefully. Thank you for the warning. After Coyote left, Folami paced her room. Who could she truly trust? Dayo with his evidence and story of her uncle's sacrifice, Coyote with his urgent warnings, or neither. She remembered her uncle's advice, look beyond what you are shown to what is hidden. Quietly, she slipped out of her room and made her way to the security office where Dayo had shown her the surveillance footage. No one was there. She sat at the computer and began looking through the video archives, searching for anything that might give her answers. Hours passed as she watched footage from the past few weeks. She saw the partners coming and going, meetings in her uncle's office, staff going about their duties. Nothing seemed unusual until she found footage from the day before her uncle died. Her uncle was in his study with Coyote, arguing intensely. There was no sound. Thank you so much for your incredible patience and support. Part 2 of Folami's dangerous journey is coming soon. Make sure you don't miss how this twisted tale of betrayal and survival unfolds. Stay tuned and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we continue this thrilling story.